It's great to see you all. Just a warning for those who don't know me, there are one or two people here whose names I don't recognise. If you don't like bad language, you're not going to like me. With that out of the way, I'm going to start with... last week on the open mic here, I did a piece. I won't call it a poem because it wasn't. I did a piece about somebody applying for a job that they didn't actually want. And now I'm going to do the reverse side of that, and this is somebody replying to an application for a job. Dear Mr. Big Shot, thank you for your application to be head of IT. I don't normally reply to unsuccessful candidates. I like to leave them wondering and play with their minds, because I'm a sadistic bastard. A little unprofessional, I know, but I retire next year, so fuck 'em. I thought you deserved a reply, though, because you do seem a bit odd. The thing is, I found you on Facebook, and if you don't mind me saying, not only do you look a little like Nigel Farage, but you strike me as someone who would only change your underclothes twice a year. That in itself wouldn't stop us employing you. Some of the managers here stink like skunks. But we ran your signature past our retained graphologist, and she said you are almost certainly a psychopath with poor personal hygiene. I shouldn't really be telling you that, as her conclusions should remain confidential. But fuck 'em. I'll retire next month, and honesty is a key asset in this business. I did keep trying for you because they are considering promoting an absolute balen with halitosis. But our astrologist said not to touch you with a barge pole because Saturn is up your anus or some such bollocks. Again, that's supposed to be confidential, but I think you deserve to know what the pricks are saying about you. And as I retire next week, I say fuck 'em. Finally, they Googled you and discovered that you molest pigs and claim to be David Cameron. This sealed your fate, as no one in their right mind would pretend to be David Cameron. There's no wrong with bestiality, I engage in it myself sometimes, but for fuck's sake, dude, David Cameron? Really? I shouldn't have disclosed this, but I resign tomorrow, so fuck the bunch of pigs, if you'll excuse my language. Good luck with the job search, and don't worry, I made most of this up, because I thought it would be funny. I hope I haven't caused you too much distress. Well, I may have made that bit up too, so fuck off. So that was a reply to a job applicant. So next up, this is an older one, which I always enjoy doing, and I haven't done it for some time. Well, I have, because it's part of my show, but as a standalone poem or part of a set, I haven't done it for a long time. So, children's characters, we all love them, don't we? You know, we see them on the TV or in comics or whatever, and you know, they're all so wholesome and butter wouldn't melt in the mouth, and you know, they're all wonderful. But obviously, when the cameras are switched off, yeah, who knows what they get up to? Well, I do, because I've done some research. So this is possibly unsuitable children's stories. Humphrey the chunky West Country monkey had on comfy rumpy pumpy with the grumpy numpty Humpty Dumpty. Andy Pandy was feeling randy, but Miranda Panda wasn't handy. He got turned down by sexy Sandy, who branded him as Namby Pamby, so Hand Shandy was fine and dandy. Donald Duck was out of luck in the quest for a fuck, and he fussed and cussed how much this sucked, so he hired a quack whore for $40. SpongeBob SquarePants had some bants with the man from France, but the man from France started to rant, and at a glance produced a lance. Poor Bob cacked his pants, and ended up in an ambulance. Postman Pat had a secret stash of lots of smack and crack and hash. He was a very brash chap who got into scraps when out on the lash, and only his cat knew he was EDL fast trash. Tom and Jerry got very merry on a bottle of sherry and jumped on a ferry to County Kerry. Tom felt a rumbling in his belly, Jerry's legs turned to jelly, and he ended up in Peri Peri. Rupert the bear had a bit of a scare. He ripped himself open on a broken chair, and they tried to stuff him with Donald Trump's hair. But the glare he gave them said, "Don't you dare! I'd rather be dead than have any Trump in there." And Stormy Daniels agrees, to be fair. All children's heroes have an alternative story, some full of glory, some pretty gory. What they never told you, on Jackanory was Peppa Pig's grandma got shagged by a Tory. Not David Cameron, that's all. Okay, so that's that one. Now I'm going to share some words of wisdom with you because obviously I am the man to do that. As you can tell by my first two poems, I'm highly intellectual and very highbrow and upper class. And so, yeah, I'm going to share some wisdom. So listen carefully, take it all in, and make of it what you will. There are many old proverbs, old adages by which people try to live their lives. Some of them are very wise, of course, but in the end, we find our own way, develop our own ideas, even if they can be a bit weird. Me, I'm a bit of a sage, a modern-day guru, and though ultimately you have to do you, I'm going to share my wisdom with anyone who will listen. If you don't want to know, I'm not that fussed, but believe me, I've got this life shit sussed. So, if it looks good and tastes good, it's probably going to make you fat and fuck your heart up. If you can keep your head when all around are losing theirs, you're probably too stupid to understand what's going on. A bird in the hand will probably shit on your fingers. The only certainties in life are death and taxes, and people telling you that the only certainties in life are death and taxes when clearly they're talking bullshit. Because, well, sunrise, sunset, and Harry Styles ruining music. If you can't stand the heat, it's probably because the chip pan's on fire. The King Charles Spaniel is so called because it has very big ears and is totally unsuitable to be head of state. Just like the real thing. A great philosopher once said, "Fuck this shit, I'm going for a beer." In the British Isles, we have the island of Sark, which is like shark with the H missing. We have Wales, which is like Wales with the H missing. And I live in Swindon, which is an absolute sick tip. Avoid it at all costs. But most important of all, if at first you don't succeed, try something else. It'll save you a lot of disappointment in the long run. So there you go. You are all a lot wiser now. And now for a little interlude where this is going to be a bit spooky because you're going to be under the impression that John Lennon is in the room. Because this is a parody of a Beatles song. And you'll soon know which song it is. Now, I can't sing. Absolutely can't sing, but who cares? I couldn't do an impression of the Queen either. That didn't stop me doing it for 2 years. So guess the song. Straight away you'll know it. Picture yourself as a skunk in a library with no reading glasses and shit in your eyes. Somebody tells you you stink like a Tory. You're taken by utter surprise. No one smells that bad, I'm sure you'll agree. That's what the poor skunk replied. Look for the bastards with blue rosettes on, they're the ones. It's always the same old story. That putrid smell is always a Tory. Nothing smells as bad as a Tory. Okay, anyway, that's enough of that. I was offered a place at several schools of music because of my voice, but I turned them all down. So anyway, next up, what have we got? This one.
I think you slipped and put yourself on mute for a second, Clive.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you. We hear you.
Yes, but you just froze, I think.
Can you hear me?
No,
Yes.
you're good.
Yes.
You're
Hello?
good.
Oh, for fuck's sake! This fucking internet shit! Always freezes when you're relying on it. Fucking BT can suck my balls. Always going tits up on important Zoom calls, and now it's making stupid noises. I don't even know what they fucking well are. Hang on, shit. Hang on. Where was I? Okay, carry on. I got a bit confused there, didn't I? So the next up is do you the looks of astonishment in your face? You're not quite sure whether that was intended or what. I'm not going to show you who it was. Right, the next one. I don't know about you, but I always find that if you buy anything online, then wherever it's from, for days and weeks sometimes, you're bombarded with requests to leave a review. Even if it's the most simple thing, like a packet of drawing pins or something, you're supposed to review it. And I got a bit obsessed. Obsessed? What's the matter with me? I got a bit annoyed with this. So does it annoy you when you're buying something online and then get pestered to leave a review? I know it annoys me. And this is how I handle it. I recently bought one of your teddy bears for my friend's birthday. The delivery took a day or so longer than advertised, but that's okay. I allowed plenty of time anyway. I don't know why she has such an obsession with bears, but she cares for hundreds of them. She even has teddy bears picnics. Today's the day, apparently. She's a lazy bastard. She says dogs and cats make too much mess, but teddy bears impress her with their cleanliness. People find this pretty strange, but she's 44 and she'll never change, and as this was her special day, I bought a new one anyway. She'd been 43 for a whole year, and 43 is unlucky for her, so she was glad to see it pass. As a 43-year-old, she stubbed her toe at least 5 times, got arrested for some petty crime, and lost 3 family members. She did eventually remember where she left them, but 2 of them had frostbite and the other one was 2 stone light. Anyway, I'm rambling. You want a review of your teddy bears, not her life story, to be fair, so here goes. The packaging was very colourful, but maybe a bit overdone. It took ages for her to open it, probably because she was wearing boxing gloves for some reason I didn't understand. It would have been better to use her bare hands, but I wasn't going to argue with someone wearing boxing gloves and swearing like a trooper. I like my face as it is, thank you very much. Well, actually, I probably don't, but that's another matter. Anyway, eventually, when from the box the bear was released, the poor bastard was deceased. It stared up from its lifeless eyes. My poor friend was traumatised and spent her special birthday crying. So now, I'm hoping he was insured, but if he wasn't, I am assured it was your fault. He was asphyxiated, and now we need to be compensated. So, if you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise. If you go down to the woods today, you better go in disguise. 'Cause every bear that ever there was is there, except that one, because today's the day the poor thing gets cremated. Now stop pestering me for fucking reviews! So that's that one. Okay, so next up, proper poetry. I mean, a lot of people tell me what I do is not proper poetry, and I don't understand that. You know, it's it rhymes and everything sometimes, but yeah, this is called proper poetry. Listen, I don't know what you were expecting tonight, but you know my head is not quite right, and I'm known to write a load of shite. But if you tell me that, get ready to fight, because I'm a vicious bastard when I lose it. They suggested anger management, but I refused it. Anyway. That's full of rhyme and that. And we all know rhyme is a bit old hat, and even the cat. Modern audiences like something more sophisticated, with the meaning disguised and pixelated, straightforward expression asphyxiated. Oh, bollocks, I can't help myself, can I? I really do try. Oh, I did this again, as Brittany said way back when. Stop it, you moron, stop it! Stop rhyming and write something obscure. You can do it for sure, oh, for fuck's sake. There must be a cure. A slap in the face? Yeah, that might work. The moon rotates like my hippo in the washing machine on a 30-degree cycle. I hope he doesn't shrink. I've only got the one. Pink carnations spring down his nostrils like shafts of light in a dark, dank basement. The alluring aroma of coffee drifts into the far corners of the universe, reviving the stars as they begin to droop like a drunkard's todger. Look, you're all misunderstanding this. It may be superficially absurd, but listen carefully to the words. Oh, I'm rhyming again. The meaning is deeper than a Marks and Spencer's luxury mince pie with the bottom cut out, like the tongues of mine enemies. It's there if you look for it, like God or bedbugs. I bet you wish I'd stuck to rhyme now. I knew you would somehow, even though it's pretty lowbrow. Ciao. So, that was my attempt at proper poetry. So the next one is actually... I've got a new book with the publishers at the moment. It's been delayed slightly because of the person dealing with it is not well at the moment, so I'm not quite sure when it's going to be out. But the book is called Musical Hamsters and Other Strange Phenomena. And the title comes from this poem. And a lot of you have heard it, but never mind. Never buy a cheap hamster. Sometimes my poems are a bit surreal. This one is more serious, I feel. You see, if there's one thing really pisses me off, it's my hamster trying to play Rachmaninoff. It would probably get away with Liszt, but when it tries to play Sergei, it just sounds pissed. The notes are just all over the place, like my poems. It's a fucking disgrace. I paid a £5 for that useless beast. You'd think he could play Chopin at least. I think those who went to the conservatoire cost 150 quid or more. And I know that was a dodgy rhyme. But whose fucking poem is it, yours or mine? I think he got some kind of bursary to learn to sing like Freddie Mercury. But that's no good to a fan of piano who likes a bloody good concerto with the gerbils and the orchestra. All bloody night he sings I Want to Break Free because he can't remember Bohemian Rhapsody. I wish he would break free is what I'm saying. His singing is worse than his piano playing. So the message is clear, unless you're demented. Concert-level hamsters are pretty expensive. And don't get me started on the dog. He's a cute little fellow, but do you think he can play Dvorak on cello? A music fan once told me the animals were good. I'd run my piano up their arse if I could. All the money I've wasted depleting my wealth. I could have had the lessons myself. And I may have exaggerated about the gerbils. Thank you. And the first time I ever performed that live, that last line, I may have exaggerated about the gerbils. I misread that because I read, I don't do it from memory. And I misread it and I said I may have exaggerated about Goebbels, which was a bit unfortunate. But, somebody told me I should leave that in, but I thought, no, I won't. So I'm going to do two more. The first one is possibly, and you've all heard it. Anybody that's ever heard me has heard this, but there is a reason why I'm doing it tonight, and you'll find that in a bit. But this is almost certainly the most popular poem, or whatever you call it, I've ever written. It's got me the best score I ever got in a slam, for example. I got 5 judges marking out of 10. I got 3 10s and 2 9.5s, and then promptly got thrashed in the final. But yeah, this is. I wrote it one day, and there was a bit of a problem with it because somebody crept into my flat and swapped the letters around on my keyboard without me knowing. They put the P where the F should be and the F where the P should be. And I didn't notice because, I'm not one of these people that can type without looking. I'm looking at the keyboard where the letters are. I mean, it takes me three years to type a poem out, so I didn't notice. And I did this, and I was on my way to a gig, and I was, I better read through this. This is new. I haven't really practiced this thing off. And then I realised what had happened, and there was nothing I could do about it, so I was stuck with it. So this is When F and P Change Places. This poem, if that's what it is about nothing in particular. Just various bits and pieces I don't like to start with politics, a field full of fistfucks and fanatics who couldn't organise a fiss-off in a brewery. And in the case of UK immigration policy, responsible for plenty of fatalities. Though I'm sure they would be reported favourably by Fox News and its British equivalent GB News with Nigel Farage and his friends. So let's be more pliffant and talk about sports feeful like Feet Sampras, famous feeful prom the fast like Napoleon Bonaparte, or even contemporary feeful like the unfortunately not yet dearly departed Piers Morgan, or Katie Hopkins, who always seems like she's paused a pineapple off her bomb. No? Okay, let's talk music. You may have an eclectic taste, ranging from the Pooh Fighters through operas like the Magic Flute, old British hits like XTC's Making Flans, poor Nigel, I'd poison them, wartime classics like Fack Off Your Troubles, Beatles classics like I Peel Pine, festive songs like A Partridge in a Pear Tree, or even some frog rock. I wish I was musical. I'd go on tour entertaining the peefaying public in places like Finland, Portugal, France, and probably New Poundland. But enough of that, let's talk food. I'm not sure what to eat today. Roast fork and applesauce, or fish and chips. And if fish and chips, do I have pickled onions or mushy fees? Or do I have a fucker steak and kidney pie? Not saying I eat too much food that's unhealthy and pattening, but my clothes are size trifle XL. Feet for fick to feck up, fickle feck. What? Plagiarism? Fuck up. Or I'll punch your lights out. Oh, appended are we? I pray you don't call the felice, the coffers, the pilf, the figs, the puz, Potter Felice! Oh, come on, I was joking. I wouldn't really punch you. I don't approve of fisticuffs or violence of any kind. I'm a pacifist. My house has patio doors. It's a big house. It's rather palatial, with a games room for fool and fing-fong. OK, I'm taking the piss. I live in a folky little flat or apartment, if you prefer, among the pheasants. And I'm probably stuck here until the Grim Reaper comes calling. Whatever a reefer is, I mean, I wouldn't know. So that's that one. And I've got one more. And I did several of those, swapping letters, and because it kept happening. You know, I kept going to talk, and the letter had changed. So I decided the only way to get round that was to dictate the poems into my phone using voice recognition. And I mean, what could go wrong? Well, I could be drunk to start with. I mean, that's one thing that could go wrong. And unfortunately, it sort of confused some of the sounds. And it got the p sounds and the f sounds and the k sounds mixed up. So this is when f and k sounds get confused. I am a big fan of music. I enjoy most genres, from classical to hip-hop, though I have to confess I'm not a fan of country music. Of course, I like Rachmaninoff and several classical composers. Beethoven's boring due to the lack of k and f sounds, but Tchaikovsky was okay. Of the pop and rock icons, I like Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles best. Lennon and McCartney wrote fantastic songs. Some say McCartney is still great. I beg to differ. I think some recent performances have been catastrophically awful. Do you like Farmer Familian by Fulcher Flub, London Falling by The Flash, or When Doves Fry by Prince? Myself, I play piccolo and flute, but I'm not great with keyboard instruments, and I certainly couldn't sing in a choir. My favourite foreign band is The Fillers, led of course by frontman Brandon Flowers. I like Arctic Monkeys too, though the last couple of albums have been frap. I like football, or suffer, as Americans call it. I support Birmingham City. They too are frap. I wish Jurgen Klopp was their coach. Talking politics would involve talking about Fwazi Fwarteng thrashing the pound, or Keir Starmer replacing Jeremy Corbyn as leader of the Labour Party, so cough that. I love comedians such as Ronnie Barker and John Flees. I've been itching to say that. And I like fuffing. I'm a good foof, and once considered becoming a celebrity sheik. So much better than hard, dirty work. Though they do say, where there's moth, there's brass. I don't buy that. Now my ambition is come I show to make Edinburgh cringe. On a lazy day, there's nothing better than a fop of fucky. Sometimes black fucky, sometimes fucky with milf. Nice with a fawn beak sandwich and a piffled onion. My mind is keeble and shallow. I can't folk with philosophy. I don't understand Descartes, for example. I think therefore I am. What the cuff does that mean? I went on an anti-monarchist protest march on Coronation Day. Got arrested and hand-fucked by the foppers. Coughing bastards. Never trust a fopper. And God save the thing. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
Bravo! Bravo!
Thank you.
Clive, you might want to mention that people can vote for your Ubi Hive.
Yeah, I will do that. I will have to get the link again. I'll put it in the chat. But the event I run or co-host with Nick, UB Hive, has been shortlisted for a Saboteur Award for best regular spoken word event. So we're on the shortlist. It's down to the votes now, and the ceremony is on June the 24th, and votes close on June the 21st. So if you like what I do, or if you've been to a UB Hive event and you've enjoyed them, your vote would very much be appreciated. You do have to vote in 3 categories for the vote to count. So I'm going to take the liberty of recommending someone for the other 2 votes. And that will be in Best Spoken Word Artist and Best One Person Show, Jasmine Gardosi, who I know very well. She is brilliant, absolutely stunning. She doesn't do Zoom. She is a professional performer, and she deserves it. So if you are going to vote for us, then that will be a great option to vote for in the other categories. You don't have to vote in every category, but there has to be 3. So I shall find the link and I will put it in the chat. And again, thank you very much.
Okay, next up, we have